After watching the Edpuzzle video about the different evidence for evolution, you will do an activity looking at some animals and compiling a list of evidence to make a claim about the evolutionary relationship among these three animals. And the animals that we are going to be investigating are dolphins, cows, and sharks. So this Google slide deck has a whole lot of information about the anatomy and the reproductive biology and the genetics of these three animals. And what I've made for you is a triple Venn diagram to help you organize your evidence. This is a lot like the double Venn diagram that you might have seen before, where the circles overlap is where you type similarities among those different organisms. So features that all three of them share, you would click in here. Features that are shared between the dolphin and the shark only, you'd click here. Features between the dolphin and the cow only, you click here, and then things that are unique to each animal you'd put in these text boxes on the edges. So the next two slides have diagrams. This slide is all of the internal organs of the animals, and then the next slide is of the skeletons. Now, when you look at these two slides, you want to be looking for homologous and vestigial structures. And I know this might be a little bit small to see, so here's a tip. If you click on this magnifying glass and you click on a picture, it'll zoom in so you can see the different labels better. And then you can use these scrolling bars to scroll down to the different animals. To zoom out, you click this little downward facing arrow and go back to fit, and it'll bring it back to normal. You want to make sure that this box goes back to gray, because right now it's yellow. You see how the little magnifying glass keeps coming back. Every time I try to click in here now, it'll keep zooming. So if I just check that again, now it goes back to white and my cursor is back to normal. After you compare the organs and the skeletons, there's some short readings about the reproductive biology of these different animals. So again, you want to look for similarities and differences among those animals. And then finally, I have done this research for you ahead of time. This slide contains information about two proteins found in all three of these animals, and I got this information from the National Center for Biotechnology Information, BLAST. In this program, what it does is it looks at the genomes of these three animals and these specific genes, and it gives me a number of how similar those two genes are for each animal to the dolphin. So this shows how similar the cow's genes are to the dolphin and how similar the shark's genes are to the dolphin. At the end of this activity, there is this sort of graphic organizer for a CER paragraph. I'm not going to have you write the full paragraph. Bullet points are completely fine for this activity. But what you're going to do is you're going to write your claim. You can click this text box and erase the text and answer the question, are dolphins more closely related to cows or sharks? And then there's a place for you to type your evidence. You can use bullet points, that's totally fine, but you need at least one piece of evidence from each slide. So you need something from the organ slide, something from the bone slide, something about from the reproductive biology slide and something from the DNA slide. And then for each piece of evidence you collect, you need to have reasoning. So explain how that evidence proves that dolphins are more closely related to cows, or explain how that evidence is more proves that they are closely related to sharks. So, for example, I may notice that both dolphins and cows have lungs. So that would be my evidence. And then I would explain that the reason why they both have lungs is because they both share a common ancestor, or they're closely related because they have similar organs. There, where the shark has gills, and so that means it's more distantly related to um, the cow and the dolphin. If you have any questions about this assignment, please send me an email.